What is going on, everybody? It was a fairly quiet weekend for the Longhorns. The Kansas game did end up getting canceled. COVID things there. The Longhorns had some problems. Kansas had some problems. Texas actually had like a small little outbreak. I heard at one point there was up to 50 players and staff that tested positive. They have, as of today, been cleared to go back to practice. So if there's anything that were to come up, bowl game type of stuff, the Longhorns are ready for that as far as health and COVID. Justin, kind of the big thing that happened this weekend was Crystal Conti, CDC, our athletic director at the University of Texas, put out a official statement, his support for Tom Herman. It was kind of vague. There wasn't necessarily a whole lot of confidence shown. There wasn't, big words like Tom Herman is our head coach going forward into the future, taking us to, the promised land, anything like that. All weekend, all week, I was hoping Urban Meyer was going to be the guy. There's still a possibility, even with, CDC's kind of statement support for Tom Herman, there's still potential change that could come, but, he had to kind of come out and say something. And so he put out a little bit of a vague statement, whatever. We'll see how that plays out. That I would bet that that's not done yet. I would bet that there's going to be more happen there. Maybe even a more profound statement from somebody involved at Texas. And then today is National Signing Day. Just mention that real quick. Lots of future Longhorns, inking their name, their letter of intent, LOI. We will cover more prospects next week as we kind of uncover some guys that we like, some guys that we think have a bright future, things like that. But Justin, man, I got a question for you. If Tom Herman is the guy going forward, do you think you've seen enough where he will ever get this program to a point where we compete with Alabama, where we compete with Clemson, Ohio State year in and year out?
I would love to see Tom Herman without Sam Ehlinger, actually. So,
Okay. Okay.
we talked about Sam potentially staying simply for his draft profile falling. But I would actually, now that Tom Herman is more or less looking like the head coach of the Texas Longhorns, which I'm okay with. I think the guy didn't get enough time. I think that happens a lot in the NFL. In the college NCAA, I think that happens a lot at the college level. I think colleges get rid of coaches too quickly simply because of money. People just
Yeah.
money talks, and athletic directors feel like they've got to please their director or please their more or less investors for their team. But I disagree with that completely. I like Tom Herman. I think this is the deciding year, especially because this is a COVID year. Like, this year was way more stressful probably for all coaches.
Sure.
There's so much more to worry about. You're not just worrying about yourself catching COVID and being safe. You're worrying about your family. You're worried about your players. You're worried about your players' families. You're worried about one of those players doing not what they're supposed to. And, I mean, it was just a crazy season. So I'm
Yeah,
happy
it
that Tom
was.
Herman is getting we're just kind of, I won't say we'll be COVID free, but we are going to be in a better spot than we were this year going into the football season next year, virus or not. So I think that going to next year's football season, Tom Herman will have less to worry about, and he can just do what he's supposed to do and coach. I would love to see him do that without a Sam Ehlinger type quarterback. I do think it's a little upsetting that Urban Meyer turned down the job because that was awesome.
Hmm.
Um, I think that would have been a great fit for Texas, and kind of like you said, he has built multiple programs. I think that
Right.
Urban
Right.
Meyer would have been a really, really cool coach for Texas. But I am very happy that Tom Herman is going to get another shot because I talked about it in prior weeks. I completely disagree with more or less the Texas fan base and getting rid of Tom.
I like it. You brought up some good points there too. I hadn't actually thought about even if we are still under COVID protocols next season,
Hmm.
at least everybody at that point knows what's going on.
Right.
Everybody 100% knows what to expect, and so even if there is still that extra element there, everybody's used to the process now. Everybody will come into next season, very much ready and prepared for that. So I absolutely like that. The one thing I do want to say about Tom Herman real quick and kind of get your opinion on this. If I were to pick kind of one thing that I really don't like about Tom Herman, it is the scheme on offense that is reliant on, your individual players being better than the other players on the other team.
Right.
There is a lot of very power run game, a lot of play action shots. There's not a whole lot of creativity. There's not a whole lot of we are winning based on scheme, based on alignment. There's certain things you can do to a defense, whether it's pre-snap motions, whether it's formation, bunches, where you can kind of force the defense's hand.
Right.
Texas uses none of those things. They play, for lack of a better term, they play ego ball. Real quick, guys, if you are enjoying the conversation, throw us a like, throw us a subscribe. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. All right, we're going to throw y'all right back in. For lack of a better term, they play ego ball. And so kind of to your point of Sam as well, I wonder if Tom Herman will ever kind of get the program where we're good enough that his scheme works and works well. What do you kind of think about, will it take, really finding the next Vince Young in order for Tom Herman to do anything here at Texas?
I don't think it takes Vince Young, but I do think it takes Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
So I think
that's a great start. Yeah.
I think that having a running back like him with generally the offensive line that you guys usually produce, y'all usually have one type of NFL prospect. I think that if your offensive line can stay healthy and produce like they have been the last half of y'all's season, I think the ego game, more or less, that you like to call it the ego game, is, you can impose your will in the run game. But I do agree with you. You should be playing what, we talk about all the time. As a coach, you have to play with what you have, not what you want. So, like, if you want to pound the rock and you've got a 5'4" running back, you're probably not going to do very well.
Right.
If you've got a 6'2", 220-pound freight train like Derrick Henry, you pound the rock. So I think that Texas needs to figure out that they have Bijan Robinson, and the dude looks insane in kind of like a zone scheme power, outside, B C gap hitting runs.
Okay.
I think that he would look great in a zone scheme. The RPOs I think you should increase for Texas. I don't really like. I've never liked the screen game, the college RPO screen game, but I do think you can definitely use RPOs to your advantage, obviously, and design plays that look similar to RPOs, and then continue running plays out of that. So
Sure.
Like you said, they like to use play action rather than just doing your straight up, one man in motion, snap the ball, fake it to the running guy, fake it to your running back, and then look downfield. You can, I saw Texas do it last 2 weeks ago. They ran the same play like twice and it worked, but they never ran anything that looked similar to that.
Absolutely.
So I think you can do something with that and run the same play. And they're like, oh, defense is like, we've seen this twice. I know it's coming. And all of a sudden, boom, the ball's already in the receiver's hands and he's gone.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, man, they didn't do that last time, and now they're behind. So I think that is something that Texas is missing and they need to develop.
Absolutely. There's so many things, man. You watch the Rams play, you watch the 49ers play. You go watch any kind of smaller D1 school that really has to be creative on offense.
The Rams are a fantastic look at that. Everything looks the same.
Absolutely. And then man, it just kind of take what other offenses are doing to find success and employ that into what we do. We make too much money to do the same thing over and over and over and expect different results.
I agree.
And so I would love to see the offense kind of, let's get creative. Let's find schemes that work. Let's create mismatches, by alignment. And then when you have Bijan Robinson, then when you can, craft a play that's guaranteed to get 5, he'll get you 15.
Yep.
Right. And now we're rolling on offense. Now we're really humming. And we're not playing this ego ball. I think that's the one thing I look at Tom Herman. I wish we would expand on the offense.
Yeah. And if you ask every OC, Dylan, for the record, every play is designed to score. So not 15 yards.
That's true.
Other than a quarterback sneak.
Sure.
But yeah, I agree, man. I think Texas needs to play the strategy game a little better on offense, and they'll be much better. They rely on that 4-star, 5-star talent to do too much sometimes. And I'm sure you can win games like that. You can out physical a bottom tier college football team. It's very easily doable. But when you start playing those teams like the former national champion LSU team, when you start playing the Alabamas, you start playing the teams that are good at almost everything and coaching as well, you can't just rely on physicality to beat teams. You have
absolutely.
to more or less throw those little like sprinkles of, hey, this plays, this is we saw this in film, we can use this to our advantage. And then we're going to run this play. Oh, now we're setting this up, and we're running the same play. It looks exactly the same, but it's going the other way, or it's going this way, or it's a pass play, not a run play now. So I think Texas needs to do a better job at that. I would put a lot of that blame on the offensive coordinator, personally.
Oh, well, that's Tom Herman, though. Yeah, no. I don't care who our OC is. Yeah,
I know.
See, that's a Tom Herman thing. So.
I know. I've heard that Tom Herman is the offensive guy. So I think that Tom Herman should definitely, hey, buddy, you need to figure stuff out for me.
Yeah. If he's a genius, he needs to figure it out real quick.
If his OC's not calling plays, then he needs to design plays at least, right? So that's my thing. Everything should look. You should have 2 or 3 plays that you can come back to that look similar but are completely different. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. The Rams, that's their whole offense.
Literally.
So
everything.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And you see how much that stresses defense, and you see how much a defense, the ball snapped, they have no clue where it's going.
No
clue.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's 15 yards down the field in Cooper Kupp's hand or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, I didn't even know his pass play.
Yeah, that dude's always open.
He is. They're all always open. That's because they scheme success.
And they don't have a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. They have
Absolutely.
a game manager, more or less. Jared Goff is nothing crazy. He doesn't put up 400 or 500 yard stat games.
Committee at running back this year.
Unless his receivers are like catching the ball, at the line of scrimmage and running 60, he doesn't produce anything crazy.
Cubs done that a couple times.
So I'm saying, like, he doesn't really he doesn't do much. He just kind of delivers the ball and lets his playmakers do the work, which is what the Rams are made for, and they do it well. So I think that Texas has a long way to go. When I say a long way to go, I really mean like their offense needs to improve. I like their defense. They definitely like start slow and warm up, but I think that Texas with Tom Herman could be extremely successful. But I'm interested in how Tom Herman handles this offseason because of all the more or less talk around him.
Sure. Something I heard on the radio this morning, and this is all rumors, right? This is all, there's no ever way that they're going to be able to confirm this. Apparently, a couple weeks ago, Tom Herman reached out to South Carolina, who fired their head coach, and was like, hey, are y'all interested? It's like, it sounded like I'm about to get fired here.
Oh.
So obviously that's just rumors. I don't know.
What a smart man.
Yeah. So, hey, I totally get it though. If it's sounding like your job's about to be lost, you go find another one.
Absolutely.
So, you got to do what you got to do and, feed your family and all that.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, I'm pretty sure, in our Texas video is, we're talking about if Urban Meyer signs right now and you still got a week or 2 left of the season, you start calling people. Whether they're in the middle of the season or not, he's like, hey, buddy, think about me because I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he's doing. I don't blame the guy. If my job's on the line, yeah.
South Carolina did hire somebody else. And now it sounds like, obviously it sounds now that Tom Herman's going to stay here for at least a couple more weeks, right? So
I would assume at this point a year, but you never know.
No. I'm waiting. As soon as those, bowl games are over, as soon as these championship games are over, and those other coaches are contactable and are kind of looking around themselves,
hey, Nick, buddy.
I think there could really be something shake out.
Hey, Nick Saban, yeah, we have way more money than Alabama. I promise you, buddy.
He ain't worried about money no more, man.
Nah, man, that dude's got everything he wants.
He ain't worried about money. But if he talks to Texas, he'll just get another raise at Alabama, so he might as well.
It's like whatever they offer you, we'll offer you 15 million more, guaranteed, a year.
A year.
Texas would do it.
$30 million contract.
Texas alumni would be like, take it, please, please. I want to be a national champion.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Texas alumni would dump money.
You've heard how much
Texas.
it would take just to fire Herman. So, I mean, yeah, they got plenty of money. So,
yeah. So I would love that. That'd be hilarious. But nothing that crazy will ever happen. Nick Saban's gonna ride the Alabama train till he dies. So.
Why would he leave? He's built that thing. Man, you don't leave that.
He probably doesn't even do anything anymore. He's like, you know what to do. And then the seniors coach the team.
Actually, his staff turnover is so high. I don't know if that's true. Every year he's got a new OC and D. I mean, every year he's got new guys around.
He's probably just got
because they're all getting head coaching jobs.
He's probably got a coaching handbook, and it's all laminated, and it's dated to it's dated to 2010, and he's just like, here you go, all my coaches read this, and we're gods. That's it. That's how this works.
That's so stupid, dude. I love it.
And
that's great.
The new coaches in the weight room today. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be doing this. Okay, everything's just scripted. He's got it down.
Oh, that's terrible, dude. That's terrible. Tom Herman needs to write a book or something.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Player profile on him. Love Joseph Ossai. I love what he did this season. Love what he brings going forward into the NFL. Really hoping as a Longhorn fan that we're looking at a guy who could be a potential top 10 pick, a first round pick. Nonetheless, excited to see where he ends up. And then, like I said when we started the video, today is National Signing Day. We are recording this on Wednesday. We will cover more prospects next week as we kind of look around. Some guys that stand out to us. All right, everybody, that's it for us today. Off season's rolling and hot. Maybe coaching changes coming. We don't know. And nothing else. We'll be making Longhorn content all off season. Y'all stay tuned. Stick around. Throw a like. Throw a subscribe. See y'all later.